cluster A, dark side personality style, is the wary personality style. So this one is about being a bit suspicious, a bit cautious, a bit careful, especially in your relationships with other people. So when we're looking at sense of self versus relationships with other people, often this is a really clear and distinct sense of self, sometimes to the extreme. So putting a lot of distance between yourself and other people because of worry or concern or stress about what might happen if people get too close, if people know too much information about you, if people get to know you too closely, what could happen, what could go wrong, and what could those people do? So there's a stress there related to interpersonal relationships and a sense of self that is very distinct of other people, and sometimes seeing other people or friendships or the social environment as a bit threatening. Now, that's not always a problem depending on your environment, your circumstances, who you work with, who's around you. Sometimes it's good to be a bit cautious of other people. Sometimes it's good to be careful about oversharing information or telling people you don't know too much about yourself, especially at work if that kind of sharing is not really accepted or it's not what's wanted or needed in the environment. There's a lot of conversations about bringing your whole self to work and how much we should be able to tell people at work. But for people with this wary personality style, that can be a cause of concern, danger, worry, stress, anxiety. So people with that wary personality style tend to be a bit more on guard about sharing information and keeping themselves and their information, their private life, potentially distinct from other people and their immediate social group. It takes them a lot more to learn to trust other people. It takes a lot more time and communication and really positive communication for people to open up and feel safe with other people, whereas some people wear their heart on their sleeve and they'll tell anyone everything. People with that wary personality style are the opposite. Interestingly, if you're looking at work or where this is useful online or in the workplace, this is essentially an overactive threat detection system and an overactive social threat detection system. So people who have this wary personality style are really, really good at picking up on different pieces of information, and they can be very perceptive about social cues. So they might pick up on body language or intonation or, other things that other people might miss. They also tend to have a really good memory for social information. So they pay more attention to what people say often. They look for inconsistencies and varieties, and they may notice that more than other people because their mind is really attenuated to those inconsistencies or concerns about threats or patterns that they may find threatening in their work or in their life. They can really, really spot those. And that can be a useful skill. It can be a useful skill in all sorts of business negotiations. It can be useful in contract negotiations. It can be useful in anything detail-oriented, especially where in work people are making promises or commitments to each other that are really important you stand by. And it can be really useful in all sorts of other jobs where you're looking at potential inconsistencies or threats to the business, threats to the team. If you're an auditor, if you're looking for, security concerns or security risks, there's all sorts of places online where noticing different patterns of suspicious behavior can be really useful. If you're looking at online threat detection, if you're looking at cybersecurity, if you're looking at doing kind of security audits. So it's interesting to see how something like that can cause interpersonal challenges because it can create difficulties when you have a lot of trouble trusting other people, opening up to other people, and forming really healthy reciprocal connections with other people. But then there's also ways that heightened threat detection system and height response to social information and social cues can be really useful because there are all sorts of times when inconsistencies and challenges and difficulties are useful to see.